Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac show. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm your bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed to impress.
Should let you walk away. Should I let you stay? Why does it always come down to goodbye? I know you wonder when I say I want to hold you close tonight. Why does it always come down to you leaving? Say I love you, I want you tonight. I just want to hold you tonight. I just want to hold you tonight. I just want to hold you tonight. I just want Why does it always come down to you leaving? Say I love you, I want you tonight. I just want to hold you tonight. I just want to hold you tonight. Just want to hold you.
Hello, I'm Terry Thompson from Prudential Douglas Elliman. Welcome to the Hamptons. What I love about my job is that every customer is completely different and every day is a new experience. I chose Prudential Douglas Elliman mostly because of my love for Southampton. I visited 20 years ago and knew I was home. It was important to me to know that I was working with a company that had not only the technology and professionalism, but a company that would also allow me to think outside the box and be an individual.
I find her incredibly personable. I think she cares more about her job than many people I've ever met in any profession. And that makes a huge difference. There's such a sense of sincerity and happiness with the work that she does that it really is important that she makes the clients happy. And what kind of sale that materializes from that isn't as important as actually being able to do her job well and seeing people in the right sort of home.
So let me help you find your Hamptons dream. Call me, Terry Thompson, your key to the Hamptons.
Welcome back. I'm Cognac Wellerlane, and we are right in front of the Sag Harbor Whaling Museum, and I'm here with the director of the museum, Zachary Studenroth.
That's the guy.
That right?
Perfectly.
Perfectly.
Yeah, most people stumble over that Pennsylvania Dutch name.
Well, it's a lovely
I'm out of my
name.
element.
Yes.
Not too many whale ships in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
But they're here in Sag Harbor.
I managed to get here.
What made you fall in love with Sag Harbor?
I knew you were going to ask me that question. I'm actually an old building guy. And if we get to the building here, that's my passion, is old buildings, restoring structures and saving them.
Now, how long have you been the director of the Sag Harbor Whaling Museum?
I've been here 9 years, and we've changed a lot. about the museum. We've introduced new exhibits, but we're still working on the building itself. We're raising money to restore it.
To restore, well, it's a gorgeous building. It used to be a Masonic temple.
Well, it still is. The Masons still meet here upstairs.
Upstairs.
So we share the building. We own the building, but the Masons meet here every month.
What are your plans for restoring the building?
Well, it's a big job. It's never been restored. We have to replace the columns, which rotted away years ago. That's very expensive. We have a big roof to fix. So there's a lot of old-fashioned carpentry and painting, and that's going to just cost a lot of money. It's a big house.
It's a big, it used to be
Big old
somebody's
wooden house.
mansion, right?
It was built by Benjamin Hunting, who was a ship owner, not a captain. If you owned the business, you made a lot of money. And he and Mary made a lot of money in Waling, and enough
And he
money
decided
to build a big house.
he decided to build her
Yeah.
a mansion.
Yeah, just as wealthy people nowadays like to
Right.
display their
wealth,
success,
of
etc.
course.
Yeah.
Tell my audience the history of this building.
Well, very briefly, Benjamin inherited the property and the whaling business from his father, also named Benjamin, and that was in the early 1800s. And he continued the business, made a lot of money with his brothers, and eventually decided that the Pop's old house wasn't new enough, big enough, so he moved it off the property and had an architect come out from the city and designed a new house, which was this in 1845.
1845.
So, and if your listeners look carefully, you can see the decoration around the roof are carvings made to look like whale's teeth and blubber spades, which were the tools that were used to cut the whale blubber into pieces before they boiled it in pots. So the architect was kind of having a little fun, I guess, in introducing that whaling iconography into the architecture of the house.
How interesting.
Pretty cool. It's probably the only house that's been decorated with whale's teeth that I can imagine.
Whale's teeth, that
Whale's
is really something, really something.
Yeah.
So you are really taking on a huge undertaking to restore this building, and that's
It's a big
why
job, yeah.
that's why we're having this event today.
We do benefits like this, both to support our programming, and we're trying always to bring in a new group of people, a new audience, and so music and an evening's worth of entertainment is an event such as that. So it's not everybody who is that interested in whaling objects from the 1800s. I mean, that's one of the things that we collect. But we're also mostly about saving this building and keeping it preserved for future generations.
Well, it's a historical building, and it's very important to the town of Sag Harbor.
Yes, right. Yeah.
It's very important to the history of Sag Harbor as well.
Well, we have a great location, and it's both our asset and our challenge, because we're right across the street from the public library. We're at a very busy little street corner here in town, and so we enjoy that sort of exposure, but we also suffer the why haven't they fixed the house yet kind of thing. So we're very mindful
Takes
of
a
that.
lot of money.
Takes money. All
Money.
you listeners, money. Well, it's so interesting. People who drive around who are used to seeing the house, just they don't know whether it's privately owned, whether the town supports it, whether what it is. It's always been there. People make that assumption. So we have
We
to.
shouldn't always assume, right?
No, that's correct.
Tell my audience about some of the exhibits that we might see
Okay.
here in the summertime,
Well,
which is
every-
a season here in the
It's
Hamptons.
a season, yes. We're open in May through October, and we always have one big summer exhibit. So this year it's about it's the artwork of Cappy Amundsen, who was a very talented local artist. This is his 100th anniversary of his birth. So we have his paintings exhibited this year. We do a special exhibit every year. We've done exhibits on surfing because there were early whale ships discovered surfing in the South Pacific, so we did that. We've done a number of very interesting exhibits. We're also doing a summer music series, which this evening is part of. So that's once a month all summer. And we have a clam bake in September. A lot of people come to that.
Oh, that sounds
So
like
that's fun. Old-fashioned clam
I
bake.
want to come to that.
Please, September the
Wow.
9th. It's this Friday night. That's actually that kicks off the Harbor Fest weekend, which is all through town. There's fun stuff down on the wharf, all kinds of fish stuff like clam shucking and clam chowder and the whole thing. So we kick that weekend off here.
Tell my audience, what is so special about Sag Harbor?
That's kind of hard to sum up. How long is your show? Got an hour? No.
Well, you could tell me.
I'll tell you
what's so special to you. Why you love it so much?
The one thing we like to say is it's the unhampton, because it's not stuffy, and people
It's very artsy.
very artsy. Historically, it was the port, and we all know what sort of low life happens in the port. There were more bars in Sag Harbor than the entire East End
A lot
altogether.
of sailors.
Sailors. So there was a lot of nightlife, and that kind of carried over into today's culture. So it's still a very artsy, very real. People are, in other words, you don't go to Southampton, which is a lovely town, but you don't go there at 9 or 10 o'clock at night to see people walking around. They've had dinner and they've gone home for the night. Sag Harbor is a very lively town, and it attracts people like that. So people like Cappy Amundsen, the artist, came here in the 1940s.
It's sort of like the village of the Hamptons.
It is. And Steinbeck came out here. A lot of very well-known people were attracted to this as a very real, down-to-earth, honest, and celebrities walk around. Nobody makes a big deal out of it because it's just meant to be that way. It's not a celebrity kind of a place. So it's very comfortable that way.
I want you to tell my audience, where can we go to support, to donate, and to contribute to the Sag Harbor Whaling Museum?
Okay,
Do you have a website?
We have a website, which is www.sagharborwhalingmuseum.org. We have a phone number, 631-725-0770, and or Google Sag Harbor Whaling. You'll bring it up right away.
Do you have a Facebook page?
We do, but I'm of a generation that is not all that conversant in Facebook. I suppose if you could,
Probably if you type in Facebook and the
whaling,
Sag Harbor Whaling Museum.
you know, my
Let's toast.
my teenage
Let's toast to the
assistant
Sag
would know all
Harbor.
about that.
You got it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, darling.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mwah.
Oh, thanks for coming.
And we will be back in a moment with more interviews right here
And
in
more
Sag
mojitos.
Harbor, and more mojitos at the Sag Harbor Whaling
We know how to
Museum
party.
in Sag Harbor. Big champagne kisses.
Okay.
Fantasy dress to impress. One of a kind girl. This has been a Crybaby Productions, darlings.